I'm using the old style of my drawing time lapses because I wanted to show a bit more process in this for this video. And yes, it's got a voiceover. That's because I want to talk about everyone's new favorite topic, art AI. It's going to be a bit rambly and disjointed, so feel free to mute and just watch the drawing. I won't be putting anything unrelated to the time-lapse in until right at the very end. Art AIs have exploded recently, mostly because of DALL-E 2 and how impressive that is, though there's also Stable-Diffusion and Midjourney now. And what they can do is impressive, no doubt, which has led to some heated online discussions, mostly involving artists. There's a myriad of issues to discuss, so I'll try to be quick and concise. Recently, a tweet was posted sharing a Discord message where someone essentially used Midjourney and did a bunch of prompt refining and generating to create 3 artworks that they then submitted into a digital art competition and managed to win first place with one of the artworks. And honestly, I feel absolutely insulted. And I haven't even poured a huge chunk of myself into learning the craft. I can't imagine how it would feel for professionals. Refining AI-generated results and going through hundreds of generated images is a skill for sure, but it is by no means comparable to actually drawing. The point of a competition is to compare skills, but really, how do you even compare what is essentially commissioning someone to drawing it yourself? There is, of course, the issue of the samples the AI uses. It needs images to train off from, and it's currently up in the air on where the images came from. Stock photos for sure, but on the art side, some of these AIs can be told to make their work look like something on ArtStation, which is a professional art website. Which means that it's very possible that hundreds of professional artists had their art used with no permission. For something that could threaten their livelihoods, that's just a mega insult. This includes cases where the AI attempts to replicate artists' signatures or watermarks. Or tries to remove them, who knows. But it's not great, and it's showing that the AI is training off of these artists. However, an additional issue to the samples thing is that the AI is sort of creatively stuck to these samples that are constrained. And nothing shows that better than my own experiments and my little bit of research into how AI handles my particular niche, dragons. Dragons are a complicated fantasy species. For one, dragon is an umbrella term for a bunch of subspecies. You got Western dragons with 4 legs and 2 wings, you got wyverns with 2 legs and 2 wings, Eastern dragons that are noodle-like and have no wings, and so much more. But even these subspecies aren't quite exact. Put another set of wings on that dragon, give it more legs, heads, horns, spikes, whiskers. One only has to look at the 5 different species of dragons present in Elden Ring to see how much variation there can be. And as such, whenever AI is confronted with dragons, it doesn't know what to do. It generates them with mismatched limbs, mismatched styles, blending into scene objects. It's not that great. And heaven forbid there are more than one of them. Even specifying a wyvern into spatial diffusion demo didn't quite give results. Safe to say, my niche and the characters we create in it are safe, possibly for a while. All that was to say that if you try to tell an AI to make something that it doesn't have a bunch of samples for, it'll fall flat on its face. An artist can quickly do research, draw from their own experience, touch grass, and communicate with the client. But an AI is kinda stuck until you give it more images. One thing that I can see AI is unreasonably good at is backgrounds. Because backgrounds don't need to be the main focus of a piece, mistakes can be hidden, and wow factors are more emphasized. I kinda suck at backgrounds sometimes, which makes outsourcing that work to AI look appealing. That brings me to one of my fears with AI art, because what it does is allow non-artists to express their visions, which is great. Don't get me wrong on that. It's just that it could also discourage people from ever getting into art. Because art is hard. It's a long learning process, and if you want to get really good at it, you have to learn anatomy and color theory and composition and lighting and shading and how to use your medium and so on and so on and so on. I've barely even bothered with it, opting to instead fuck around and find out for the past 4 years or so. If, when I started digital art, I was instead given an AI that could create my character for me, and a few profile picture worthy artworks of that character, all at my command, I wouldn't have bothered downloading Krita and plugging in the drawing tablet. Hell, the only reason I started digital art is because I didn't have the means to pay someone else to do it for me, so I had to do it myself. And it'd be a right shame if future aspiring storytellers opt to just use AI and accept what they get over trying to learn art and never finding out that they like drawing. And that has the potential to escalate as less people draw and instead generate. And boom, we've run out of artworks to give it. Time to feed AI art into new AIs to get more AI art. And it all looks samey, and it all lacks real artistic input, and oh boy, it's so easy to feel negative about it. But you know, art AIs have the potential to act as useful tools for artists in the future. As I mentioned, it's pretty good at backgrounds and has been tempting me, but I want to learn backgrounds for myself, thanks. But you know, given how corporations move and behave, that might not be the future we get, and instead we end up in a hellscape where corporate produced art looks meh, because all the concept art was done by AIs, and the lowest end art also looks a bit meh, because no one wants to pay an artist or learn art themselves. And all artists have to survive in some sort of middle ground where they hope that the people who want the novelty of human produced art can sustain all of them. That sucks. But for now, let's laugh at the AIs trying to deal with the prompt, a blue dragon on a cliff during a sunset with dragons flying in the sky.